Alright, so booking confirmed.
Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this. For those that know my story, you'll know that I've literally wanted this watch for years. I've waited. I had the opportunity to get it like 2 years ago, but I decided to instead wait, invest into the business, work day in and day out and day out, and finally get this. I always had a goal to get it before I turned 21, and I'm turning 21 next month. I just got the call from my AD because this watch literally has like a 25-year waiting list at Rolex. So the fact that, I kind of organized that is also just a miracle in its sense. But yeah, got the call this morning, just booked the flight, leaving in about 2-3 hours time. I want to take you along with me and document the whole process as I always have done. So let's go get this watch.
How are you?
I roll my weed and I prevail. This shit go deeper than a well. I hit the trap and do it well, baby. Keep a couple bricks up on the cell. I miss my niggas in the cell. I pray they win and they appeal. I can't wait until they free my right hand. We gon' get this shit for real. Like 10 years in the field. You know my life is like a film. And every day I live a movie, baby. It'd be hard to tell you what is real. Say I don't trip, I spill. I take a chick as well. I buy a new shirt now. But she don't kiss and tell.
Alright guys, so obviously it's a couple days later now. I'm back home here at my place in Cape Town. I've had the watch for a couple days now. I've been enjoying it, been wearing it. And this video is very different than most of mine. A lot of the content I make is how to start, grow, or scale your own agency. So, hopefully you can get your own Rolex one day. But I wanted to make a little clip here at the end just to really answer 3 key questions. And to be honest with you, this video is mostly for myself, not really for you, because I want to document the process and I want to be able to look back one day and kind of see what I went through and what I was thinking about and the achievements that I had. So anyways, the 3 main questions, and I've got some notes that I want to answer, is first of all, what watch did I get? How much did I pay for it? How much did it cost? Why did I buy it in the first place? I think that's an important question. And if you are running your own business or making your own money, at what point do I think you should potentially invest in a Rolex or something like that as well? So first of all, what watch should I buy? So I want to read this to make sure I get it right, but it is the 2022 Rolex Submariner Date. It's the Starbucks edition. So if you know anything about watches, there was the Kermit that came out sometime in the 1900s. After the Kermit, they discontinued that, and then it was the Rolex Hulk. And then they recently just, I think in 2020, they discontinued the Hulk and they brought out Starbucks. It's called Starbucks because it's got the green bezel and the black dial. So it's 2022, completely unworn, still had all the stickers, box, warranty, all of it, everything with it. How much did I pay? So I actually paid significantly more than the watch retails for, but that's just because if you know anything about Rolex or watches in general, you actually just cannot get these watches. Like this particular watch, if you went into a Rolex AD, I think it has like a 25 or 26 year waiting list to get it. So you just cannot get the watch from Rolex. You have to go get it through, another dealer. So I paid £20,500 for it, which is roughly about $26,000, give or take, somewhere in that range. So it's definitely a lot. It's by far the most expensive purchase I've ever made. And so why did I buy it? Well, I've been thinking about getting this watch for a very long time now. I've kind of had it saved as wallpapers and things. I've been looking at it for a long time. Originally it was the Hulk, and then this one came out and I just preferred it. So I've been debating buying this a couple times. I've almost bought it a few times as well over the years, but every single time I've stopped myself, and because it is a lot of money, and decided to invest that into the business instead. But basically what happened is I turned 21 in a couple days now, and I always told myself that I will have this watch before I turn 21. And that was a big goal, and I set that and I wanted to hold myself accountable for it. So I was able to, through a good friend of mine, get a connection who actually was willing to reserve the watch for me. So I basically spontaneously, jumped on it. I was like, you know what, I can afford it, I've worked for it, I turned 21 in a couple days, I can get a basically free trip to London out of it, because it was a little bit lower than what other retailers were willing to charge for it. And so I pulled the trigger and I went ahead and got it. Now, the only thing that I want to say with that is, although I've thought about getting this for a long time, if you have a look back on my YouTube channel and you go back like 4 or 5 years, there's videos of me literally when I was trying to be a personal trainer, quote unquote, and I was basically recording videos of me in the gym. And I've recorded videos ever since then. So I've worked really, really hard over the last couple of years, and I've almost lived like shit, really, compared to the amount of money that I make. This year, I moved into a new place because previously last year I was still living with my parents. Over the last 3 years, I've been making what for most people would probably consider a really, really good salary, but I lived like shit. I always lived off the cheapest food. I still stayed at home with my parents. And I think that did a lot of damage to me mentally, because I think I somewhat lost a bit of motivation just because I didn't really need to be making that much, because I didn't have responsibilities and overheads and these things. And so this year that changed a lot for me, and I started to lose motivation again. And I think just by buying this, I think what it really did for me is, since I got it, I have worked way harder than I ever have before. And I think that I've delivered way better results for my customers and clients, both at Centrosite and Systems and Profit, purely because I feel hungry again. And that's honestly just like, when you look at this watch, you just see craftsmanship. All Rolex's watches are handmade. It's a brand that's been here way before I was born. It's a brand that will probably be here way after I'm dead. And there's a lot of craftsmanship that goes into it. So that was the main thing. I truly have come, and I never used to believe this, but I've come to believe that rewarding yourself is the only way to continually push yourself. Because if you are just working, and you're doing well, but not actually enjoying any of it, what's the point, right? And that was kind of a big thing for me. But the other thing is, over the last couple of years, I think I've been, I definitely don't think that I pushed myself as hard as I should have. I think I've been very conservative, and that's because, last year I had offices, I had a big team, I had a lot of things. It was the first time for me, having to pay for so many people, and they have their lives that they need to pay for. It's a lot of responsibility. And so I've kind of played very, very safe bets. I think my businesses would be a lot further than they would be if I had taken bigger gambles. And at the end of the day, I'm only 20, turning 21. If there's any time in my life to be extremely risky, it's now. And I think this watch just gives me a very strong sense of security, because when I look down on it, I see that this is basically like half a house. So if everything in my life went to absolute shit, I would just sell my watch, and I'd probably be able to restart and survive, pay rent for a while just by selling the watch. And that does something for your mindset that I can't explain until you get there, but it's just very freeing and very motivational. So that was why, and that also is why I decided to do it now and not wait later. The last thing is, when should you get a watch if you are looking for a Rolex? The first thing that I will say is, a lot of people, when they start making some money, they waste a lot of it. That just had never been me. But I have always saved it, which is a terrible idea with inflation and everything going on in the world. And so really, I think, 2 best places to put money if you have a lot of it, or 3 places probably: real estate, crypto, and watches. The thing with crypto is I already have a lot there. Real estate, I just don't want to get in that game. It's a lot of management. It's just too fixed for me. I want something more liquid. Watches appreciate like crazy, and you get to enjoy them. I mean, I'm tracking my watch's value on Chrono24, and I've literally made 5% in the last 20 days or so, just by having the watch, and I've enjoyed it every day since. So it's just a good investment in general. But the main thing is, I've also seen so many people go broke trying to look rich, because they buy these things, whether it's a watch, Ferrari, whatever, and they buy it way before they can actually afford it. And I always told myself that I will never buy this watch until I make in a month what it costs to buy this watch. And I've had a couple months like that now, but I've got to a place where the price of this watch is pretty much paid for just on the interest on some of my investments. So regardless of what I actually make monthly, the watch is paid for passively by some of the investments that I have. And that was a goal that I set, and I've achieved it. So yeah, just don't buy it for other people. That's the other thing. I didn't buy this watch for you or to prove myself to anyone. I bought it because I was lacking a sense of motivation, and I feel like I've worked extremely hard and I haven't rewarded myself for it. And I feel like that's kind of broken a lot of the motivation that was there, or the hunger that was there. And so I got this, funny enough, to actually work harder, not so that I could enjoy and work less, which is quite different. So with that, and then yeah, the other thing that I would say is just set a goal for yourself. I've also seen a lot of people who spontaneously buy things. You know, they wake up one day and they just buy a watch, and I feel like you get that dopamine hit for like 24 hours, and then it pretty much goes. So I would encourage you to really set a goal for yourself. You know, say when I hit this income level, when I have this amount of clients, or when I have whatever, then I'm gonna get a watch, or then I'm gonna move out, or whatever your goal is, doesn't matter. But set a goal, I promise you it will feel way better. So with that being said, I hope this video motivated you. I hope that it encouraged you if you are building an agency or a business like that. And I'll see you in some of my other videos.